welcome back to my channel. Today in this video we'll be learning about selection sorting. How does the selection sorting algorithm works, and also in the second part of the video we'll code on that, okay? First, let us understand the algorithm with an example. So this is an example which I have taken 4, 1, 3, 9, 7, 8, 5 in an array. So in this given array, the very first thing which we'll be doing is finding out which is the minimum element. So when you traverse through the array, you know how to find out the minimum element basically, right? So if you have come till here, you must know how to find out the minimum element. I'll also teach you how to find out in the later part of the video, but here I'll just explain you how does the algorithm work. Okay, so when you traverse through the array and find out which is the minimum element, you obviously know 1 is my minimum element, right? So when you have 1 is the minimum element, you need to know that this 1 has to be at the first place of the array, right? So it has to be here. So what can be done? We can swap it directly, so that this is how it looks. So this is how when your swapped array looks like. Fine. So when you swap 1 comes to the first place and 4 to the next place. Here what the thing you can observe is, see here, this part is my sorted part because 1 is already here in the sorted list, and this part which is remaining is the unsorted part. So you have to make sure your unsorted part also belongs to the sorted part, right? So this I'll explain you next, okay? One second. So in your unsorted part, again you will traverse. You will traverse in your unsorted part and check which is the minimum. So this is my unsorted part. Just bear with me, guys. Okay, this is my unsorted part, and here which is the minimum element, you can see the minimum element is 3. 3 is your minimum element. So what can you do? You have to swap it with the first element in your unsorted one. So your first element is 4 and here is your 3, and again you will swap this 2. When you swap, you have to get 1, 3, 4, 9, 7, 8 and 5. Did you get this? So again, this part is my sorted part, which is 1 and 3 is my sorted part, and remaining 4, 9, 7, 8, 5 is my unsorted part. So here in your unsorted part, again you will check which is minimum and again you will swap. So what is one thing which is going on? Checking the minimum element and swapping, right? So you'll check your 5 is your minimum element and you will swap it with, sorry, here you'll check with the array 4 is the minimum element and it is already in the first position, so you don't need to swap. Therefore your unsorted part starts from 9. So this will be your unsorted part and this remains your sorted part. Again you'll check here, your 5 is your next smallest element, you'll swap it with 9. Again you get the array 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 and 9. Again when you check, you'll almost get the correct answer, that is 1, 3. Give me a second. So again you'll get the correct part, that is 1 will be here, 3 will be here, 4, and when you swap it you'll get 5, and here will be your 7, here will be your 8, and here will be your 9. So this is one of the simple example which I have taken, guys. You need to know how does the swapping and finding out the minimum works. It's just that I'll explain you even correctly while coding. So this is how it works. I hope you understood how we did. We just checked from the first step. You'll check which is the minimum element and you'll swap it with the first element. Again you'll have sorted and unsorted list. From the unsorted list, again you'll find out the minimum element and you'll swap it with the first element of the unsorted list. So this is how the algorithm works, and now let's see how does the coding part works. So now let's start coding for this. First I'll initialize some array, any array, I mean any value you can use. I'll write 23, 12, 56. You can take negative answers also. Some answers, some random numbers have taken. So first thing, we'll check the minimum from this array. So here, when you see this array, you will get to know that minus 98 is the minimum. So you need to find out minimum element from the array. So first I'll initialize like int n is equal to array dot length, so that we can use directly in our for loop. Now I'll start for int I is equals to 0, I less than n minus 1. Why do we do till n minus 1 is we will traverse till last second element so that you can swap it easily, right? You can't go till last element and swap. See, in this example also, you'll go till here and swap. So 5 you have swapped, 7 you will see 7 is the minimum, it is in the correct place, and you will see the 8 is also correct place. If 8 is in the correct place, if all these remaining elements are in the correct place, obviously the last element will also be in its correct place. So you need to just traverse till 0 to n minus 1. You don't need to see n only, okay? So that thing I wanted to tell you. So you'll do till n minus 1 and I plus plus. So here the very first thing is I'll initialize the minimum value int min, and we'll take it as integer dot max value. We'll initialize max value for this, and I'll take one more, that is index value. Why index value? See, here in the first step, you know 1 is the minimum out of all the array, right? If you know the index of this 1, you can directly swap the first index with index from the given index with the first index, that is the 0th index. So taking index is mandatory, that is very important to do. Here also, if 3 is the smallest element, if you know the index of the 3, you can directly swap with the first element from the unsorted list. So that's why we'll take index. Okay, I'll take index as x. You can take any variable. I'll just initialize with 0. And now we shall go with the for loop. Again, why? This for loop is for checking for swapping things. Okay, here we'll actually find out the minimum element, that is int j is equal to I. See, I'll show you here. For traversing, the outer loop is for traversing the whole array, and the inner j loop is for your sorted and unsorted, not for sorted, basically for your unsorted part of the array. To check from unsorted part of the array, we'll be doing that thing. Okay, so and for the unsorted part, obviously you know, if I start from 4, the for loop has to start from 4 only, that is j should be equal to I only. You can't start from 1, you can't start from 1, right? You have to start from the unsorted part. Therefore we'll start with j is equal to I, and j less than n, sorry I took I, right? J less than n and j plus plus. So what we will do here, we'll find out the minimum element. How to find out the minimum element? If array of j, if array of j is less than min, what we'll do, if it is less than min, we'll initialize min is equal to array of j. Let's see. In this first example, you don't know the min value, you just initialize with 9. Okay, you some random number you initialize, that doesn't even care. When you use if condition, what is that thing is, if array of j, if I take this second thing, it'll understand better. Here, see, this is the array of j, that is 4, because we have started j is equal to I, right? So that is my 4. And if 4 is less than minimum value, if it is true, we'll make sure that 4 is stored in minimum. But now it's not minimum, right? 4 is not minimum, 3 is minimum, therefore 3 will be stored. You're getting my point? So here also, if I explain you here in the first step only, if just assume min is 0, you don't have any value in min, and you'll check array of j. Array of j. Right now j is equal to 0, right? Array of j is less than min. Is it? If it is, then you'll initialize min is equal to array of j. This you will do, and then you'll also store your index value in x. Fine. This is how you do with your finding out the minimum value. So after finding out the minimum value, you have to swap. Now you found out the minimum value. I'll just show you how did we do. See, now I'll explain you that finding out the minimum properly. When you start with j is equals to 0, that is int I is equals to 0, you'll start and you'll initialize j is equal to I, right? So therefore j is also equals to 0, and we have initialized min is equal to integer of max value. So here in the integer of max value in the given array, 9 will be stored in my min value, right? 9 is stored. We'll check that if array of j, this is my array of j, okay, this is the array of j and this is the min value. Is my array of j less than 9? True. Therefore what we'll do, we'll store this in min value, we'll store 4 there. Again you'll traverse and check. Now right now my min value is 4, right? Again you'll go, j is equals to 1. is 1 is 1 less than 4? True. Therefore we'll store min value 1. Again you'll check. Now my min value is 1. Again you'll check, is 1 3 less than 4? Sorry, 3 less than 1, because my min value is updated to 1. Is 3 less than 1? No. You'll go again forward. Is 9 less than 1? No, it's wrong. Is 7 less than 1? No. Is 8 less than 1? No. Is 5 less than 1? No. Therefore, my minimum value will always be 1 in the first pass. Did you get how did I find out the minimum value? Right. So this is how we found out the minimum value, and after finding out the minimum value, we'll swap. We'll swap with the first element. So now that's what we'll code it. So here we'll code. This is for, yeah. For swapping, I'll just write it here. Swap array of j with min value, right? See here, you will swap array of j with the min value, right? So that's what we'll do. You know how to swap, it is very easy. Sorry. Yeah. So we'll take it as int temp, very basic. Int temp is equal to array of j, and array of j is equals to array of x, because that is the index where our minimum value is stored, and array of x is equal to temp. This is how we swap. So after swapping, you can directly print it. For int I is equals to 0, I less than array dot length I plus plus and system dot out dot print array. This is how you code for sorting. Give me a second, I'll adjust the screen. Right, did you understand how this coding is working? Let's run this. Where is the run button? Huh. Oh, there is some error. Where is the error? Okay, here. Silly mistakes. Now, guys, what's wrong with me? Can't you say? Even if you say I couldn't hear, guys, I'm sorry. Now let's run and see if we don't have any error. Again, error? Int temp is equals to, oh sorry, we'll not be swapping with J, we'll be swapping with I. I'm so sorry. Because we have already come out of the loop. J loop. If you run this, oh my god, what is this? Very sorry, sorry, sorry. Here you will find out the value. You'll print the value, not the address. Now let's run. Oh my god. What's the error? So the very small minor error is you have to make sure you initialize J instead of I. That was the mistake which I have done because we were inside the J loop and I have initialized I. I hope that was the wrong thing. Now you got the correct answer. You can see. And if you print it before, sorting also, it will show you how does it evolved. Like I can print it like before the, you can here I can print it like after sorting. Okay, plus. Now let's run this. It's just a cleaner way of executing the answer. That's all. Why error? Praising. Okay, there is one more extra bracket, I guess. Here, one bracket is missing. I don't know why there is some bracket error. Yeah, extra bracket, huh? Okay. See, guys, when you start coding, only you'll understand how does all this happen. That's, you don't need this thing to do. You can just remove this. It's just it's just showing off. If you don't want, you can skip it. Very fine, right? So this is how the algorithm for sorting selection sort works, and you can code by yourself so that you can check where the error comes, and you'll also learn how to correct it. So thank you guys. Bye.